molimo na miteki likambo nasali te bakopanzanga sango Kinshasa mobimba bakotongoka kombo na ngai ekomango lisolo ya bato soki bakolia po batongoko bafingaka nsima basambwisanga natula te ope nazanga te nazali na mobali oyo akokanga na makambo maso nalingaka naye lelo na lopango na bino mpo nayebisa yo oyebisa baninga na yo banda lelo bosukisa na kombo nanga ezali mobali na yo azali mwa serie soki aye kotala yo mosala na ye kotala basi nyonso ya katie na bilongi mpe kopepapepa ezali mobali na yo azali mwa serie soki aye kotala yo mosala na ye kotala basi nyonso ya katie na bilongi mpe kopepapepa kobotalelanga bana yanga molimo na miteki likambo nasali te bakopanzanga sango Kinshasa mobimba bakotongonga kombo na ngai ekomango lisolo ya bato soki bakolia po batongoko bafingaka nsima basambwisanga nazali na mobali oyo akokanga na makambo maso nalingaka naye lelo na lopango na bino mpo nayebisa yo oyebisa baninga na yo banda lelo bosukisa na kombo nanga azali mobali na yo azali mwa serie soki aye kotala yo mosala na ye kotala basi nyonso ya katie na bilongi mpe kopepapepa ezali mobali na yo azali mwa serie soki aye kotala yo mosala na ye kotala basi nyonso ya katie na bilongi mpe kopepapepa ye na tembe o na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na tembe o
nga na ye na tembe na lopango na bino kosukisa na ye na ye na ye na tembe o na ye na tembe bopandanga bolambanga bosasanga bolambanga bominya
na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na tembe o
oh mama
na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na tembe o
ekwekese ya mobali oyo nga na fakufela na ye namona ye na tembe o mobali yango kowapi ye natala na miso na ye na tembe o oh mama
na ye na ye na ye
na ye
na ye na ye na ye na tembe o
oh mama
na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na tembe o
na ye na tembe na lopango na bino na ye bobeta ngai na ye kosukisa yo ekwekese ya mobali ngai na bino tokowela sapato etengama simise pasuka na mokongo
na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na ye na tembe o
na ye na tembe
na ye na ye na ye
mwana
na ye na ye na ye na tembe o
Good evening, folks. Sam Cinto, LeBron Public Radio. I want to thank you. Wonderful day, Friday afternoon. We say thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to have fun. We will be talking about some serious stuff here. So I hope that you share this video, and many of you, if you can, join us here tonight. Let's have fun together. All we ask is that you give us the opportunity, and we also will give you the opportunity for us to hear each other. What is it we're talking about? Let's have fun together. And we know that our brothers and sisters, those of you that are listening, we're all respectful to the process, and we're all respectful to each other as well. This is all we need to do, and that's how we're going to move this. Whatever conversation we have, that's how these things are going to be moving forward. Thank you for joining us this evening. Samson to LeBron Public Radio. Safety before we start our show. Usually safety. God, thank you very much. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again for the protection that you continue to provide towards us. The protection, the blanket, the protection, the big blanket you have all over us. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you. The vaccine, some of us have been asked to come and take the vaccine, and we will be able to do so. Our other brothers and sisters have already taken them, and Lord, we want to thank you for your protection. We want to thank you for your mercy. We want to thank you for your love and forgiveness that you continue to pour all over us. My Lord, thank you. Thank you. But my Lord, you know, we, the Liberian diaspora, will work not because we want to bluff. We have two tables. One table here to feed in the diaspora, and we have another table back home to feed as well. And Lord Jesus, we go to work, go to these places, not because we want money to bluff, but because we want money to rebuild. We want money to help our brothers and sisters back home. My Lord, you know what it is that in our mind that we're doing. And we ask you to continue to protect us. Only through you. With our faith placed in you, nothing else gonna move us. Lord, thank you for your protection. Lord Jesus, we ask you to bless our country, Liberia. Bless the leader of the country, Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. And Lord Jesus, bless the host country, the United States of America. With that, we say, amen. Thank you. Okay, folks, let's go ahead. This is what we do every evening before we come on air. Let's go ahead. It's going to be a doozy one tonight. Samson To is here again. And if you've been watching and reading my title there, you will see. But before that, let's do the way we usually open our show, folks. Samson To, Liberian Public Radio. I love my name, folks, don't I? Samson To. My goodness. Folks, yes, the President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Weah, President of the Republic. He didn't come to the position through the back door, folks. No. Don't fool yourself. He came in through the front door. He knocked to the door. What? They said, who's that? He said, that me. They said, who are you? He said, that me, Ambassador Weah. They said, what you want? He said, I want to be the President of the Republic. They said, are you sure? He said, yes. On the other hand, Samson To in the diaspora said, my people, you're gonna listen to him. My people, you're gonna get in the job. He can't do the job. You're gonna give it to somebody else. No, you don't listen to him. See, they're not disciplined. Samson To, every day he was on air. The Liberian person says, Mr. To, thank you. We appreciate your advice. However, this is the man we want. And this is the man that's going to be your president for the next 6 years. However, the people say, the Constitution say, this is the person we're going to pick this time. The Constitution say, in 6 years, you, Dr. Weah, come back. Dr. Weah will make a case, and you make your case. And we will make the judgment at the time. I said, fine. Who am I? If I'm coming out here every day trying to talk about what is happening back home, and I want people to believe what I'm saying. Who am I to say, you believe me, but I don't believe you? You believe me, but your choice is nothing. Then I'm not serious. Once the brothers and sisters back home decided this is the man we want, I said, fine. I believe you. I trust in you. I trust your judgment. Fine. He's our president. He's my president. Why? Because this is not a republic of this is a Republic of Liberia, not a banana republic. And once we have a president who is representing all of us, we must accept it and respect it. We respect the president, we respect the office. It's a Republic of Liberia president, for Christ's sake. And we're going to come down here and say the president this, the president that. You could criticize, but you cannot be disrespectful. From that perspective, ladies and gentlemen, I, Samson To, here on Liberian Public Radio platform, I will criticize, but I must do so with respect. I will criticize, but I must do so with responsibilities. Why? Because every one of you that are watching me right now, any one of you can sit in our office tomorrow. You feel disrespecting the current president, then when you sit there, you want people to respect you. It don't work like that. Respect go two-way. It ain't coming. Two-way. I get you, you get me. You see? Sam Santola, Brown Paparator. Folks, we're going to have fun here tonight. However, it's a very serious business we're going to be discussing. This is our president, Dr. Weah, who is currently the head of state of the Republic of Liberia. Let me remind you now, I said, let me repeat myself as well. I said, current president of the Republic of Liberia. I didn't say Banana Republic. I didn't say Mwepliwe Republic. I said Republic of Liberia. Duly elected. Let me leave that. So, let's go ahead. Let's start the show. And the way I'm going to start the show, I think it's going to be very interesting. Of course, you know I like the country business. I'm a country boy. So I like the country business. So recently the president went on a country tour. But I'm going to show you a video. And this is what we used to do when I was, at least when I leave from here, I go back to Total and get fast and find some friends, we'll do the same thing. Watch this president. This president of the Republic of Liberia. But at this moment, if he were to ice skate, if you have the power and you have the will, and you say, you're stop, and everybody stop. The video I'm going to be showing you, and everybody stop. And you ask the president, are you president of the Republic of Liberia? He'll go like, before you even answer. Because at this particular moment, the mood he was in right now, forget president business. He was back in the village. Oh, so the only way you'll be able to enjoy the kinds of video, and the only way you'll be able to understand it, if you're one of those who grew up in the forest, in the countryside, let's put it that way. But if you're from Montreal, grew up in the barracks, you go to the countryside, you only speak English, you can't even speak the dialect, then you come by and say, you're a countryman. Yeah, you countryman. Because when you go to, we used to have people like that. They come from Montreal, they come to Total. They will not even, some of them are cussing there. They will not even speak the dialect because they don't know that English. Are you and myself go throw iron, then you speaking English to me? You don't even know what they mean by throwing iron. They'll tell you, man, come from play to sit down, man. They plenty of boat that stay on one side. Sam Santo. By the way, this is the president of the Republic of Liberia when he had a county tour recently. Let's go ahead and play this here. It's a very interesting stuff. Let's see. If you watch the president jumping up and down, so joyful at that moment. It's so joyful at that moment. And you can tell that the president was very much in the things of country. Let's put it that way. So I just want to play that. But let's take it to the next level, folks. Let's take it to the next level. The president on the same tour, while he was on the tour, there was an incident. And that's the incident that I'm going to be talking about here tonight. I do not have all of the facts. And so I depend on the video, the audio interview that was done on Front Page Africa. And that's what I'm going to be playing for the family members. But we read this story some time ago. And it's very interesting. Let me give you the background of this story, folks. Samson Tola Paredo. It's a very serious issue here tonight. Let me give you the background of this story. Here is the EPS officer that, according to a report, committed suicide. In fact, it was when we read it first on Facebook and other places, it was laughable that the guy shot himself 3 times. And I heard some other people arguing that it is possible. Well, it may be. I'm not a ballistic some crime scene investigator, so I can't tell you. But for me, what I know about gun and shooting and death, one time, most of the time. But anyway, let me read something to here very quickly. Okay. Like I said, I don't have all of the facts. And I'm not going to go in because somebody died. So I'm not here tonight to speculate, to say who at fault or what happened. However, I'm going to fill in the gap because I believe certain institutions fail to fill in the gap. And I'm going to do my best. Just by listening from here and there, reading here and there, I will do my best. Okay? Now, this EPS officer reportedly shot himself to death during President county tour. Okay? Officer of the Executive Protection Services. Now, this man, according to the story, was trained by U.S. security forces. He was one of the few that were employed immediately after the war. He worked with the EPS for 12 years under Madam Sirleaf, protecting the president, so according to the story. So he's not somebody, Johnny come lately, or Johnny just coming. This guy's been in this business. He's been trained. According to the story, well trained, including training with guns and things like that. Okay? So unless from my research, here in the United States and other places, most of the people that are working with the presidential convoy or president protecting the president, protecting leadership of the country and things, these people are tested, psychologically tested. Okay? Twice or once a year, something like that. But they do tests on them to see what it is that's happening. Most of these people, they frown on you if you old people. In fact, according to one of the papers that I was reading, one of the articles that I was reading, written here in the United States, most of these people that protect the presidents and the leadership of a country, you can't old. You can't be involved into any kinds of shillinking, nothing. If you're somebody who gamble, you can't be part of it. Because what they're saying, according to the article, you're protecting the leadership of a country. And they don't want anybody to use you, blackmailing you, or do something if you owe, they believe, or if you're involved into some kind of crime or something like that. People are going to think so that you might sell out and give out a position. And I'm sure Liberia is no exception. So this man worked for the previous administration for 12 years in the same position, protecting the leadership. So according to the story, he's well trained. Okay? But I'll come to that here later. I want you guys to open your eyes, because these are things that if we're not careful, they might come back to hurt us. Quite recently, less than 6 months ago, series of people died in series, pretty much. Most of them for a specific career, auditing or account, they have to do a money issue, or people who can do auditing and whatever. and the auditing organization here in the United States decided to get involved and find out what was happening. Okay? So this is people dying in Liberia with these kinds of circumstances. They are not conducive for us as Liberians. They are not good for our health as Liberians. They are not good for our economic health as Liberians. Because we don't have much to produce, to sell, and bring in money. We expect international goodwill for us to move things forward. So we can't have the kinds of story hanging out there on us, on every one of us as Liberians. And so if you are in a leadership position, these things must be dealt with immediately. Immediately. They shouldn't be lingering around. Because if you do that, if you don't stay ahead of these kinds of things, other people who are not afraid to use these strategies to use them for their own political gain, they will do so. And there's nothing to stop them. But you as a government, because we're depending on you to tell us the truth. We're depending on you to save us. And this government, they're doing good when it comes down to that. Why am I saying that, folks? Liberia is not a failed state. And we have a sitting government. Millions of Liberians will get up tomorrow morning and be saved. Honor this government, even if I don't agree with this government. But let's give them something. So they are doing something to keep Liberians safe. Let's recognize that. This is not a failed government. It's not a failed state. We have system. Whether weak system or not, whether we believe in a system or not, there is a system in place. And every one of us as Liberians, channel, whatever it is, grievances we have, whatever we go through the system, even if it's a broken system, which for me, this system seems to be. However, it's a system. And millions of Liberians will get up tomorrow morning, safe. They're not going to be going across the river, running to other people's country. Safe. Safe. So this is not a failed state. This government is doing everything possible that we are safe as Liberians. However, there are certain times or certain things will happen. I feel that because they tend to ignore, even if they are not responsible, but these kinds of things should not be ignored. These people need to be able to make noise. Government need to make noise. So people will know why. Let me say this again. This whole thing about democracy and things, that bluffing thing. Okay. Maybe for me, I'm a countryman. I grew up in the barracks. So one of the things as kids growing up in the barracks that I know, we used to play what they call braid. And I only English near no braid. But it's a wire or a rope or whatever you want to call it. You make it into a round stuff. And you make a sand dune no more than 4 inches wide. And maybe 2 inches deep. Okay? And you put your finger in the rope. And you put your hand in the sand, covering the rope. And you bring it. The thing is, the sand dune itself maybe about 15 inches long, not 2 feet, maybe 2 feet most. But you put your finger in the rope and you go down while you're bringing your hand and your finger towards yourself. On the way from the beginning to the end, you're going to leave it somewhere. Only you know exactly what the rope is. So your friends, all of you guys that are sitting around the braid, will go and pick a spot. Say, I believe Samson told left this this rope here. So they take the stick and put it in the sand. You can only do it one time. You put it in the sand, you drag your stick, and if you miss, you're out. So everybody goes around. So bluffing. I'm bluffing them, hoping that they will miss it. And if they all miss it, I get to eat back. You know what that is? I tell them, put your hand on the ground, on the floor, on the ground. And I make my finger like this, and chew. They sweep pie here, they pie here. I go chew. And some guys, we have one young man, they call him Pedalboy, so wicked. He say, I don't eat on the table, a countryman. So you put your hand down. If you miss his break, and he take the bottom of his foot, the heel, and boom. By the time you're done, your hands all red. The reason I'm bringing this up is bluffing thing. Perhaps it's not seen as democracy. But democracy is a process. What color is it? It's a bluffing thing. And remember, Liberians. Liberians have called the bluff of democracy or the government before. That's how civil war starts. When they call the bluff of democratic practices, you no longer have law. That's bluffing. These things we're doing, we sit here behind this platform, open our mouth, talking all day, saying things that we don't know about, inciting in some instances, saying things that we have no proof. But because we don't like certain group in the government or whatever government that is in power, and we don't like it, we're trying to degrade the government, forgetting to know that whatever we say, it connects to somebody. But you have other governments that are very smart. It doesn't matter where the information comes from. They will recognize that this other information, we got to be very careful because it has a tendency to destroy. And so let's answer that information very quickly. This government is not doing so. This government believes that the fact that they are not responding to certain things, people will tend to say, that law, man, the government ain't even say anything. You'll just leave it like that. Wrong. This is what I'm about to talk about tonight, folks. We can't do this. Now, let me go on now. So, back in February 19, 2021, the president went out on a county tour. The EPS man that you see on the picture here protects the president. It's been doing it for the last 3 years. So according to the report, it was a night to protect the president. In other words, stay guard. So he stayed there all night. At around 6:03, according to the report, he decided, after protecting the president all night, 6-something, he decided to shoot himself. According to the report, that he was complaining to another friend who was on duty with him that night about his girlfriend. We read it, and if you were to read the initial posting, you will laugh. EPS officer shot himself to death 3 times. It's a true story. Officer shot himself to death 3 times. So people were like, okay, this is a fun. It's until the story started coming up. Another platform picked it up. Another Liberian platform picked it up. And they put it squarely on the feet of this government and the leadership. We didn't hear anything. No response. Nothing. Nothing. Maybe you guys did. I did. That's almost 3 weeks or so ago. And there was some audio or something that was playing on our platform. I'm not too sure. I didn't watch it. I didn't listen to it. Okay? Now, let's forward. Folks, Samson told LeBron Pabrido, if we do these things as a country, you can't say because I hate the government and so I will make them look bad. Yeah, there are certain things that I will want if they want the government to look bad, but it cannot be about human lives. According to the platform, the information that came out of that platform, it was devastating to the government and the leadership. Okay, here's the thing here about these kinds of stuff. And I'm not a medical doctor, psychiatrist, or whatever, but I'm just saying from my own experience. I know many of us have had close relatives that die out of a setting, either by accident or by man-made accident or by whatever means. But these things can be devastating to the family as well. And the grieving process that you go through as a human being, it can be ridiculous, bad. And if you're in that position, that grieving stage, you're like a drowning man. You want to catch on to anything, especially the way this young man died. He was born, I think, in 1976. Okay? So you, as a family, what happened? What is it happening? Nothing good coming out. And so when you get any, or everybody, especially nowadays, it's okay. Social media will soon tell us. And then we're not responsible in putting out information. Some of us do these things because of the hate that we have for the government. We don't believe this government should have the right to even lead us. That's your belief. You have the right to do that. However, there was an election. As Samson told, here in the Americas, here in the United States, on my platform, for months in, I was saying CDC and CDC are not disciplined. They should not be giving state power every day on my platform. Because I didn't want this government to take power. But guess what? Majority of the Liberian people decided this is the man they want. 61.5% of the electorates. So my thing is, even if I don't agree with them, if I think they made a mistake, why would I tell them you make a mistake in selecting somebody that you believe will work for you? So my hate for the government should not be for me to do what I can to bring the government down. That is not the way to go, because if you bring the government down, you're bringing all of us down. This government is the constitutional government. Unless, if I'm wrong, unless this government and the leadership can be impeached. And they have rules you can go by. But we tend to tie this government with every little thing. My grandma died in Africa. I said the government, the president responsible. But guess what? This government, knowing fully well, this is not the government of some whatever. This is the government of the people, grassroots. CDC government. And if you're CDC, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys didn't come to this position here because you have a PhD running all over. You came from the position, you came to this position from Cloud Town, from Nuclear Town. People who didn't even have anything, people who have no reason to live. Those are the people that put you in a position because they believe in you. So the idea of being silent in these kinds of situations, they are detrimental to your cause and they're hurting. The reason why I'm saying that, I should be happy whether the government hurting, that's none of my business. No. Even as I am an opposition, but if this government failed, Liberia failed. And if I want to be able to go home and say I want to go to Total and be able to drive from Monrovia, going through Nima County, Bon County, Nima County, and going to Grand Gida, Total, safe, nobody bothers me. I drive. The only people that bother me will be the people that have a gate. Why would I want this government to fail? But the government, they themselves creating issue for themselves. And it's going to hurt all of us. This is what I'm talking about. Okay? This young man, let me read this story now. Okay? Officer of the Executive Protection Services, Marvin Early, has reportedly shot himself in Tapeta, Nima County, in President George Manon Weah Median County tour in that part of the county. This is very interesting. Why? I told you guys here the last time that the president tour, president getting a big mark, and I, as an opposition, was scared because the president getting good mark, and if we're not careful, the man might be re-elected because of this kind of thing. So I was scared. But that doesn't mean I should do what I can to bring it down because of certain things that I might not and may or may not be true. That is not right. I should find, like I said, CDC and this government, they continue to give us binder for the error. You don't have to do anything. In fact, if you were watching last week, this is what I told you. This is what I told you, and that's exactly what is happening. I said, this president, having had a goodwill tour, people enjoying. In fact, when the tour started on Mr. Soul show, a couple of times, I said this was a farewell show. I started condemning it until I started getting the true report of what was happening. Because if I saw what happened in Grand Gida County, I say Grand Gida County, that a village, that one care. That Grand Gida people, the celebrating job, their job, that their son. So I don't worry about it. But when he started going from county to county before he even got to his own county, the report that was coming in, I knew it was genuine. Okay? But that doesn't mean that I should come out here and say things that may or may not be truth, especially when it's connected to the people. Now, the interesting thing about this Tapeta deal, when the president got to Tapeta, according to the story, he went to a place, those of us that are from that area, is between Nima County, Grand Gida, and Grand Bassa, maybe River Cess or something like that. Way in the forest. No president, according to the story, had been there before. So you can't go to and say, I'm going to Zwedru. It's going to be difficult. You can make it, but it's going to be difficult. So you have to go to come back to Tapeta, and then go make a right to go to Total, and then Zwedru, and whatever. So if this young man died in Tapeta, and I heard the president going to coming back, the president, from there you go to Zwedru, from there you go to River G, and now one statement from this people, this is what I say, that these people, they fight, that they refuse to give information. It's bad. This man used to be someone who was protecting you, even if you don't believe it, even if you don't know him. According to all report, protected you for 3 years, and no comment coming from this president. He had a new conference in Zwedru, nothing about this case. Nothing about this case. And if you're quiet and silent about it, Those people, and I said it again, there are people among us that will use this type of opportunity to turn it against you, no matter what. Even why some of us don't see the need to do something, there are people among nothing stopping them. And because you're silent, and because this government is silent, completely silent. I've never heard them making a complete statement on this thing before. Somebody died. The president was protecting the president the night before. 6 o'clock in the morning, decided to take his own life. And there's nothing. Even I'm not saying the president should come out to say, let me give you the detail. Early in the morning it happened. Even before you leave, before you left to go to Total or Grand Gide. Folks, you got pressed all over Dr. Weah, for Christ's sake. But you see, this is a thing that I always say, I've been saying it over and over. You, the president of the Republic of Liberia, we all need to cry on your shoulder. Some of us are older than you, but you're still our father. And wherever you go, the press is there. You come on air. Folks, something happened early this morning. But I told the EPS director to look into it. But first of all, I want to extend my condolences to the family, because these people are protecting me. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to jump into conclusion. I'm not going to make any kind of judgment. But I just want my citizens to know that we care for all the people. That's how you do it. But every time somebody dies, even if they're close to you, you're not much involved. Only a few people that you'll be involved from the beginning. And this is not the way to go. People saw you when Honorable Peno died. People saw how you behaved. People saw you. Yeah, we know she was close to you. But every one of us are your children, will live in Liberia, we're Liberian citizens, let alone this young man serving you for 3 years. Before that, he served the former president. Is it that you don't know most of the people that when you're going somewhere, they get on the motorbike and ride around? You never met any of these people? They just take any kind of Joe Blow and say you are signed with the president. Oh, today I have time. I don't believe they do that. I don't believe Trocon would just take somebody and say, go ahead. You go with the president today. Without him knowing who this person is. They're protecting you. So for the president to leave Tapeta without any comment, I thought that's a little bit beneath this president. And this is why when he does something like this, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Because here is a sane young man during the war, when people were destroying Liberia. He used to leave Europe and come to Monrovia and save life. Because when Dr. Weah get to Monrovia and say, I'm going to play football, everybody start fighting. People will stop dying that particular time. Now he's the president of the Republic of Liberia. And people are dying. And there's nothing good coming out of it. This is not good. And the worst of all, there are those that hate this government so much. Well, I'm not going to use the word hate because I don't know their mind. I'll just say because they are dislike of this policy of this government. That's a good one. The policy of this government. They are dislike of this policy of this government. That they want this government to look bad at all costs. Even if it means turning a family member, grieving family member of this young man against the policy of this government. How do we deal with these kinds of stuff? And I've been there. I've seen it. I know what it takes to say somebody kill your relatives. I know what it is. I've been there. And every little information, every little gossip that tend to skew your position towards you, you take care. Because you don't know what happened. And you're looking for information that will clear your mind. So somebody say they kill your brother, they kill your son, they kill your daughter, and nothing else. And the people that are being accused are silent. What is it that you as a grieving person would think, would do? And this is what we have right now. So the family of this young man, this incident happened on Friday, February 19, 2021. They said he was on duty during the time of the incident, according to the statement issued. Okay. This is just, it's not good. It's not good, to be honest with you. And the interesting thing is, the international community, they are not strangers to it. They pick up these things. And you wonder why we're not getting investors. You wonder why we're not getting investors. And then we have our honorable chief of the country people saying that the opposition should be ashamed of themselves because they must be responsible because the opposition keep criticizing the government as a result. People no invest. These are some of the reasons why the investors are not coming. They read these things. And nothing, no response from the government. I got 2 or 3 articles here. And nothing from the government. The only thing here that came from the government. Okay? Meanwhile, the hierarchy of the EPS extend heartfelt condolences to his family. That's it. Nothing to say, oh, we're going there, we're going to send people there. Don't take it from me. Let's watch, let's listen to the family member interview by Front Page Africa. They're grieving and they got hold of some information. Whether they are truth or not, those information. See, listen to her, listen to the lady. Those information tend to fill the void. The information tend to fill the void. Now, if you listen to her, she will tell you, if this government was serious, she'll say that perhaps they would have come to us and explain to us, but nobody's saying anything. So as long the government is not saying something, people who have issue with the government, who can come and improvise, they will fill the void the government refused to fill by telling the family member exactly what is happening. And since she's not doing that, somebody else will do it. And when the family, I told you already, and I'm saying it again, they're in a grieving more. It's just like a drowning man that will grab onto any, they don't want to die. So the family are grieving. What happened? What happened? Well, how can this happen? Then somebody come and say, oh, we know what happened. Oh, something was there. Oh, something did that. So, and then my closeness to that individual. Oh, they gave us some story. But something was there. Something and the men were drinking. And then something told the man drinking all the beer. So he took the beer. They start telling the family. Think about it. How many times now see people shoot themselves 3 times before they will die? And when they start giving that kinds of information to the family man or family person, grieving. I'm not any other family person. Somebody who is grieving for their loved one. They are looking for information to fill themselves, to make themselves to be okay. It's okay. You're going to be okay. Once you're in that position, any information that tends to skew itself towards your position, you will accept it. And the fact that this government was not able to fill that void. The other people that want to do whatever they want to do, they take it and fly with it. Now, will you now blame the family member or video I'm going to be playing here? Will you blame some of the things they're going to be saying here? No. There's no way. Because the family member have gotten themselves together and they're being backed into the corner now. They're going to come out because they think they have information that will vindicate their relatives in this situation. You call yourself opposition, I call it government official, have information, you sit there all day just talking bunch of whatever when you're supposed to come out. You think that every time, this is not war. The election is over a long time ago. Long time ago. Long time ago. And listen to this lady. Our son was killed, and why? And why? Our son was killed, and why? This is what they believe. 3 weeks after this young man died, this is what they believe. Why? Because according to them, no one from the hierarchy have approached them to even give them little information. The only type of information they have is the information from those who want to say whatever they want to say. Whether truth or not, I don't know. I don't have the facts. Let's play this. Samson told LeBron Pablo.
So, madam, I'd like to welcome you again.
Thank you.
And I'd like you to start off by introducing yourself and then your relationship to the late lover.
My name is Ruth Papa Petmon Papa, and I'm his aunt.
And you are?
Chris Petmon, I'm his aunt.
First cousin.
So, ma'am, tell us, you guys will have to start out telling us why you're here today.
Okay, we are here to speak out on the murder of our son. For us, our family, it was murder. We have reached the conclusion that our son was murdered. We're not accepting any suicide. Our son was murdered. And we are only here so that government can be able to tell us why he was murdered and who murdered him.
So, madam, I'd like to welcome you again.
Thank you.
And I'd like you to start off by introducing yourself and then your relationship to the late lover.
My name is Ruth Papa Petmon Papa, and I'm his aunt.
And you are?
Chris Petmon, I'm his aunt.
First cousin.
So, ma'am, tell us, you guys will have to start out telling us why you're here today.
Okay, we are here to speak out on the murder of our son. For us, our family, it was murder. We have reached the conclusion that our son was murdered. We're not accepting any suicide. Our son was murdered. And we are only here so that government can be able to tell us why he was murdered and who murdered him.
So, madam,
That's just the beginning. I got a lot more I'm going to be playing here tonight. The family are going to be talking. But the point here again is this. They already believe that their son was murdered. Who murdered her? Who murdered him? How did they come to that conclusion? Have they been told by the investigating officer or the security apparatus that yes, this is a murder case? Have they been told that? How did they come out with that conclusion? Lack of information. And you have people to improvise. This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. Because if this government had kept these people informed from the beginning, what was happening? If the president had made the issue from the beginning, you see, this is what I'm saying. I'm not too sure who is advising the president on these kinds of stuff, or even on a daily basis. Immediately after this thing happened, if the president have taken the lead, yes, other people will still come and say things and try to tie you down with it. But it was not. It's not. I don't believe it would have been much powerful as it did at the time if you had been ahead of it. Because other people will have gotten information, the first-hand information from you before Samson told come on the platform and try to tie you down, how you did this, how they did this, and all that kinds of stuff. Because the president, the Liberian people are not stupid, even if they don't like the government. The most likely to say, but wait a minute, the president said this already. Let's wait and see. But everyone was silent, nothing. So those who picked it up and decided to provide the kinds of information to the family and listen to this family saying our son was murdered and why. We're waiting for this government to tell us. What the issue is, if the government don't tell them, the same people that told them that they believe that their son was murdered, they will come back and say this is the reason why. So you being silent, it's not a great thing and it's not helping your case. These things not going to stay like that. You think Liberian people forgetting these things? The other tell them being killed. Even if they die natural death or accidentally. The fact that people are not ahead of these things to actually explain to the Liberian people. Those who were able to improvise and tie this government around these deaths from here and there. The international community picked it up. Why you think the international auditing organization decided to get involved? Because they picked the stories up. And the government was not being able to adequately explain what happened. Because if the government was ahead of this thing, the organization, the auditing organization would have been able to, okay, but the government already explained. We know. Who you think the international community is going to believe? Think about it. Who you think the international community is going to believe? Samson Toe or the government of people of the Republic of Liberia? Obviously, the government of the people of the Republic of Liberia. They're not going to believe me. I can sit here and run my mouth all day. But if the government is saying nothing to rebut whatever that I'm saying, you know how many people watching me right now? 44. But there are other platforms, when they come on, when they're ready to do their bombshell, they got 3,000 or more watching them. What do you do with those people? What do you do with that kinds of information that is already out there? How do you retrieve that? You can't. But that's what I'm saying. If you were ahead of it, and these people were 3,000, 4,000 watching their platform, if they come, they will be behind you. You don't understand that. Anyway, let me continue to deal with this young man. Okay, so now they're going to tell them who's this man is. Now listen to the grieving family as they try to put their son. Here's the thing here. Yes. These people are now putting themselves squarely against the government narrative. Because the government saying that this young man committed suicide. And these people, the family member, they're going to say, this man grew up in our hand. This is not what we do. We don't commit suicide. And this young man, he doesn't do nothing like that in his mind. How now the government going to come back and face the grieving family? This is what I believe happened. When the other platform got hold of the information, because my understanding there's somebody from the family or somebody, they said the guy was making phone call before they killed him or before he died or whatever, before he killed himself, whatever. But they said it was a phone call audio between him and somebody else in his family. And that audio was turned over to some other platform. Okay? In fact, to be specific, according to Front Page Africa, it said there was an audio that was turned over to Prophet Key. Okay? From I believe, let me go to that. Let me go to that. I don't want to read anything here that is not something. Okay, let me read that. The family have vowed to go. Okay, blah blah blah. Okay, here. Okay. 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 There's another one where they said that I'm sure. Okay, right here. It says the wife now. Okay, the widow of Marvin had gone into hiding in fear of being harmed. She leaked an audio of conversation between her and Marvin to Prophet Key on the same issue. Okay. Okay. So when that happened, I believe that this government, like, we're not gonna even do. You're not bad myself. You're not bad on me. He's a human being. And whether the audio is leaked to Prophet Key or not, that should not mean that you can't speak to these family people. So right now, they say the woman is in hiding. You keep doing this thing and it's snowballing. It's going downhill fast on you, the government, against you, the government. There's nothing you're going to do here to try to explain yourself. Let's listen to this, to the family member trying to, once again, say who this young man is. Let's listen. Samson told LeBron Radio.
Who was Melvin prior to his death?
Melvin was a gentle giant. Melvin was very lovable, kind, funny, gentle. Melvin was everybody's friend. That's who Melvin was. A gentle giant.
What was your last interaction with Melvin prior to his death?
The last interaction with Melvin was on the phone. Before Melvin left to go up on the tour with the president, he called, and that was a tradition he had. He called his grandmother and asked for prayer. He did that all the time. And that was the last time he called and he was on the tour with the president, and we should pray for him. That was the last time. That was the last time.
You earlier spoke about raising Melvin, helping to raise Melvin. What sort of child did you know him from his childhood to be?
Melvin lost his mother when he was under 3 years old. So we raised Melvin, his mother's family, we raised him. His mother was the sister between two of us. She was next to him. And Melvin, we raised him in that family in a Christian home. This is the first cousin right here. All of these kids were raised together. Melvin had never had any problem. He was raised as a normal child, loving and caring. That's who Melvin was. And when he became a young man, he went into the world with the same attitude. Today, you will see people talk about Melvin all over. They will give you that character of Melvin.
Who was Melvin?
So that's Melvin, according to the end that speaking for the family. Melvin was a young man, caring person. Now, how are you going to dispute all of that and make him look at somebody who will want to kill himself? If the family who raised this young man are saying to you, now you're going to have to find other reason why this man will want to kill himself. And the family, they're not stupid. These people, this particular family group here, this is something you got to be careful. These people are up to task. They're not making noise, for nothing noise. You people are going to have to approach them. Because if they don't do that, you're going to have serious issue. Because the family members are saying, this man he doesn't have anything to kill himself. He doesn't have anything to kill himself, they say. Because why? He never exhibited any kinds of killing himself on any kind of thing before. Now, out of a sudden, he's not going to go and kill himself. Especially, he was keeping guard the night before. The next day, he's just going to go and kill himself. And that's why you expect everybody to believe. This is why you want people to believe. This is a man that you trusted so much, and you're asking to keep guard for the president of the Republic of Liberia. So in order for you to put him in that position, You most likely have already trusted him, trusted his mindset. So what would provoke him? What would provoke him to just go and kill himself right away? Information the same night? Or you never knew, or somehow he was thinking he was going to be doing it, and you didn't even know that he was going to be doing it, but yet still you put it on the post. This thing is twofold. If he truly is suicidal, and the EPS boss or whoever assigned Marvin to the president, then that person should be fired. Because if you believe Marvin is suicidal, because you say he killed himself, so you guys rode from Monrovia all the way to Tapeta. It's a long way. So you want to tell me there was no detection. Nobody detected that this young man going to do something to himself. But yet still, you decided that this man should guard the president in the night. When the president and everybody else is going to be vulnerable. That's when you assign somebody who's supposed to kill himself the next day at that position. Okay? So yes, that's the deal. I mean, how do you deal with it? Because I believe, and I'm not accusing the government, far from it, but I believe the fact that this government and whoever is responsible decide to stay away without providing information, accurate information to the family member, you allow people to improvise, you allow people to fill the gap. They fill now. They're standing by. How are you going to deal with it? Let's listen to this one. Our son didn't kill himself. Our son didn't kill himself. Okay? Our son didn't kill himself. Okay? Let's watch this. Our son didn't kill himself.
That's why when people come to us and tell us that our son killed himself, this family, no matter where you take us, this family is not going to accept that our son, he's not even capable of killing a fly. He's going to kill himself? No. If our son wanted to kill himself, he was a trained officer. He would have taken a single bullet. He would not torture himself by shooting all over his body. Who would want to torture themselves? And the circumstances surrounding this death is what really have the family to say, our son did not kill himself. And we want to know who killed him and why. That's why.
What have you been told by the government?
They say he committed suicide. The family says no. Capital N-O, no. He did not commit any suicide. The people took Mary's life. And we won't answer for that. He will not serve his country for 15 years on a decent record. Then you kill him and want to bury him for that record to go into history. No wonder. We want our son's name to be clear. He never killed himself. We want justice for Mary. They must clear Mary's name. Then the government got the nerve to come to us after they killed our sons. It took 2 weeks. Nobody came to us to even say, "People, you're sorry." Nobody came to us to say anything to us, to even officially explain to us how our son died. That has not happened from government yet. But 2 weeks after his death, they come to us to ask about his burial. 3 weeks after his death, they come to say they can only embalm him.
Have you seen the body of Devin?
I've seen the body. I've seen the body of Devin. And the body I saw, he had dressing on this side of his head, he had dressing here, and he had a dressing here. When I looked on his abdomen, I saw a hole through his shirt. I saw a hole there. When I was trying to go lower to the legs, we were not allowed to go that far. So we left the funeral home. So those things are assault on my son. I'm sorry. I need a different answer than the suicide. We're not going to settle. This family will not settle for any kind of suicide. They must clean up the record that he did for this government. That's why when people come to us and tell us that our son killed himself, this family, no matter where you take us, this family is not going to accept that our son is not even.
No matter where you take this family, we're not going to accept it. So if the government, let me go back again. Let me go back again, folks. If the government, just think about it. Take yourself from being against or for, but just think about it. If the government from the beginning, if they were to keep the family informed of what is happening, this is where we are, what stage are we on, and we're here, okay, let's tell the family what's happening. You think if they were to do that constantly, you think the family will be filled with these kinds of information? But right now, how are you going to convince them that your family that your family member took his own life? Unless you're going to bring people, credible people, to do an autopsy. In Liberia, doing autopsy in Liberia now is not going to be accepted because many people have seen what happened before. You're going to now provide credible people, outside source, to help you. Whether if you were to do it from the beginning, you would have been on the ceiling. Because look at this family. They said, look at some family that will want to rock the boat. No. The family was quite aware that this young man serving. Yeah, you were here the end they were saying that this young man serving and is willing to give his life for the president. So they're quite aware of it. They have no issue. If, for example, somebody, God forbid, somebody was to attack the convoy of this president and this young man died in line of duty, the family will be gladly happy to accept that information. So if you were to come from the beginning, from the time the incident happened, first, starting with the president, having a press conference. Folks, we're sorry to announce, we regret to announce that one of our young men who served with his people to protect us, having to have, according to the story, suicide, kill himself. But we don't know yet for sure. We're having people to look into it to see what's happening. But first thing is I want to express my sincere condolences to the family, because this is a very sad thing. I don't know exactly what happened, but we look into it, and my EPS boss is looking into it. But first of all, before I even go on, this is a tour where I'm here to acquaint myself to my people and here to have the kinds of tragedy happening. It's not something that I would just sit down and ride on. It's somebody else's son, and I feel bad for that, for this young man. But anyway, I just thought that I'd do the press conference, and then you move on to Granjide. Then it's no longer any kinds of burden, but you're knowing fully well this person protected you the night before and committed suicide, they said. And no comment made from you. From you. You, as the father of our nation, your father for all of us, even as old as I am, you're still my father. Because why? Because you're the leader of the country. I keep saying this to you over, I don't know how many times, I'm not going to get tired saying it. Provide your shoulder for people to cry on. You got so many people that are grieving in our country. Provide your shoulder for them to cry. You took on the responsibility to be the father of the nation. Nobody forced you into it. You think you want to do it, and I believe you can do it. Why? It's not the same Opon that used to leave his comfort zone in Italy and come to war zone in Liberia to make sure children that were crying the night before, once they see you, they put a smile on their face. What happened to that scene Opon now? Because you're president, you no longer, that Opon is gone. That Dr. We are now. Where is that Opon that used to be caring for people? Where? Where is that Opon that used to go from refugee camp to refugee camp when Liberians were destroying their own country? You used to travel, risk your life, your comfortable life. You could have stayed in Europe. Who cares? There was other people that were playing football from Liberia. They were in Europe. They didn't bother anybody. But you used to come to Liberia. And when you come to Liberia, Children that were crying because their mom and father got killed the night before will stop crying because they want to see Opon. Now you're president. And these kinds of things are happening. Why? That's the thing that baffles me, to be honest with you, about you and this whole political stuff. Because I think after the character that served you so well when you were playing football, after that character is still there. I believe it's still there. But maybe people are telling you, don't exhibit that kind of character. They're going to think, say, you're weak. Who's going to think you're weak? Who's going to think you're weak? But maybe they're telling you, if you say something, the president can't. What make you think if somebody died, the president can't say something? Because you're president, doesn't mean you're bobo. Man, this is. But let's continue with it. Let's continue with it. This is something that I hope many of you go on Front Page Africa and watch the entire video. Thanks to Front Page Africa that we're able to obtain get this kind of video. It's very wonderful for Front Page Africa to do what they're doing for us, and I know they do that all the time. In fact, I call them double-edged sword anyway. So let's go on. Okay. Listen to this one. Listen to this. This next one, we're going to tell us that their son, Bossman, didn't even come to them. Okay? The son, Bossman, didn't even come to them. Okay? So this is what I meant. Okay. The son, Bossman, didn't even come today, they say. Let's watch this. Samson told LeBron Public Radio.
I mean, some people are concerned about why have you been so quiet for a while since the incident. The family, why has the family been so quiet?
You see, that's exactly what the family is, a quiet family. But the reason why we have been sitting back, from the day of Melvin's death news when it hit us, his wife has been in hiding. His wife has been terrified and has been in hiding. So if we are going to protect our daughter, we can't come to the public, hoping that it was just going to be few days things. But now, 3 weeks tomorrow. And
why is she in hiding? Why?
The reason she's in hiding, I can't speak to that. It is maybe we'll say, well, security issue or something like that. Yeah,
who's after her?
State and security issues. Yeah, state security issues. Yeah.
Have you been able to talk to his immediate boss, the late Melvin immediate boss?
The EPA boss.
Yeah.
He does not even want to know whether we exist. He does not even want to know if Melvin is dead. This EPA boss has never contacted us to come and sympathize with us. He has never been there.
Has the president called?
Never been. The president is the same as the EPS. They all work on the same road. They are all operating on the same direction. Nobody has called. The president has not called. EPS has not called. They have not been there. They have not even sent a half hour delegation to come and sympathize with us. That has not even happened yet.
Who's the most senior officer that has visited you as family?
We don't have any yet. I'm not sure, because what happened was, the people who they sent from the EPS, ready.
I mean, some people are concerned about.
The EPA bus have not contacted us yet. When would they do that? At what point? At what point would the government be able to? The government continuing with this kinds of thing, we continue to find it difficult to believe. Because at this point, how do you now going to try to convince these people? But of course, it's in Liberia. So I better not throw all my eggs in one basket here either. Because I think the government, if they want, they probably most likely going to be successful in trying to quiet these things down. But I'm saying it shouldn't go this far. Because why? Other people are listening. The international community are listening. They're watching. These things, they affect every one of us. Okay? So you can't just say, oh, if the president says something, people are going to accuse the president of X, Y, and Z. You can't do that. You can't do that. Now listen to this other one. Our son worked to protect the president. Now this is a very interesting one. Our son worked to protect the president. Then out of a sudden he's going to just go commit suicide. And as I was saying, if this is true, that the man did in fact commit suicide, and he was assigned the night before, what if he decided to go the other way around? It happens. Murder, suicide. What we would have done? So then this EPA boss need to look into himself. Why is it that you will place somebody who perhaps is suicidal? Why would you place him to go protect the president and work, even not the president, but to work in any kind of protective detail the night? Let's listen to this one. Samson told Labrampa Radio.
This is a man who put his life on the line when you are working with the president. Do you know that if bullet comes, that the bullet guys can take bullet for the president? Now this is the man who is laying down his life for his country. Then he's still all night working. He was now a madman. He worked all night guarding his president. He was now a madman. But suddenly in the morning, he gets mad, he takes a gun, and he kills himself. Does that make any sense to anybody? It does not make sense to us. So we're not buying that.
Have you been able to talk to any of Melvin close friends, confidant?
All of Mary's friends that we know, even the ones that were dancing at his wedding just in October, they danced there in the ring. Not a single one has called to say sorry, nor has anybody come to us, including government itself. Nobody has been to us. Nobody has been to us to sympathize with us. It was only until like last 2 weeks after his death that they sent a low-class EPS people to come find out about his burial. After they posted on the Executive National website that they were investigating, they have not come back to us to tell us the result of the investigation, but they have come back to tell us, Kilo can't find out how you're going to bury him. The body has not even mentioned over to us. Government still has his body. Tomorrow will make it 3 weeks. Government still has that body. This is a man who put his life on the line when you are working with the president. Do you know that if bullet comes, that the bullet guys can take bullet for the president? Now this is the man who is laying down his life for his country. Then he's still all night working. He was now a madman. He worked all night guarding his president. He was now a madman. But suddenly in the morning, he gets mad, he takes a gun, and he kills himself. Does that make any sense to anybody? It does not make sense to us. So we're not buying that.
Have you been able to talk to any of Melvin close friends, confidant?
All of Mary's friends that we know, even the ones that were dancing at his wedding just in October, they danced there in the ring. Not a single one has called to say sorry, nor has anybody come to us, including government itself. Nobody has been to us. Nobody has been to us to sympathize with us. It was only until like last 2 weeks after his death that they sent a low-class EPS people to come find out about his burial. After they posted on the Executive National website that they were investigating, they have not come back to us to tell us the result of the investigation, but they have come back to tell us, Kilo can't find out how you're going to bury him. The body has not even mentioned over to us. Government still has his body. Tomorrow will make it 3 weeks. Government still has that body. This is a man who put his life on the line when you.
So, I'm just playing this video. This is a clip of it's a long series of video, but I'm just playing it little by little so you get some point that I want to take out of it. I want you to listen to it. So, once again, I truly believe that if the government was ahead of this whole issue, in close contact, you being in close contact with the with the family, does not make you a weak person. But perhaps maybe the people that are supposed to pass the information, they were upset because Prophet Key had the information before them. So maybe they say, if we respond now, Prophet Key will take credit. Somebody died, you worry about Prophet Key taking credit? I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case. Let me play the last video, and then I will open the line and see what. But this video here, is emotional, raw emotional, raw emotion coming out of these people at this time. The other sister not going to talk, but it's interesting. Let's watch. I hope that's not it. This is it. Okay, now the other sister going to talk. Let's watch this. And now she's going to take on the revolutionary tune. They're ready to die. Folks, these are not things to take lightly. These are not things to take lightly. You keep doing these things, even if, this is what I'm saying, and this is what I will continue to say. The fact that the government is being silent on most of these things, people that not supposed to be involved, they're improvising. And the family is a grieving family. Their ears and their hearts are open for anything that will give them hope. Because who will want for people, somebody to, their family shut themselves up? Who will want that? So if there's any dispute, and the fact that the government is seen to be silent according to them, the government is not engaged with them. So those who are engaged with this family, providing the kinds of information that perhaps the family gravitating towards now and accepting, and now that becomes the basis of the family argument, based on the fact, because the family wasn't there. The family, they were not interpreter. They're talking based on information being passed on to them by other people. You heard the sister here, and I'm not here to defend the government or anybody, but you heard the sister that many of the friends of this young man have not gone to them. So who's giving them the information? They says the government have not given them information. The friends of this young man who were at his wedding, the close friend, nobody's talking to the family. So who's giving them the information? For them to strongly believe that their son was murdered. Because I believe the government, the fact that the government is not engaged and not passing on information. And yes, the interesting thing, the EPS bus and this young man's father used to eat from the same table, on the same table. So according to them, the EPS bus is not stranger to this family. But listen to what this lady going to be describing. This man lives around behind us, but every morning he goes to work and he will not even stop here. Our son's body is in Striker home right now. And the man can't even stop and say hi to us anymore. My people, I just wish sometimes that the people, the president would try to listen sometimes, just swat people around. You don't have to fire anybody. But I believe there are people who are close to this president and not saying to him, Mr. President, I think this one we need to do something X, Y, and Z. Just for common sense. This young man worked for the president, served the president for 3 years, protected the president for 3 years, go places with the president for 3 years. 3 consecutive years. And he died. And there was no statement from the executive mansion. Whether it's on the executive mansion website, they have something. But I'm saying they need to go farther than that. The president needs to show some sympathy. The president needs to show his shoulder for people to cry on. And I don't mean literally. But if you come across, you the president, young men like this die, and you make that kind of statement, public statement, calling his name, and sympathizing with the family publicly, the entire world watch, the family will feel good that this president cares for people. I know this president cares for people. How do I know that? Let me say this again. I never met this president. I don't know him. I know of him. Back in the days when I used to coach soccer in Canton, Ohio, at that time he was at the heights of his soccer career. Okay? I was going to school, doing 2 jobs. It was not enough. So I was coaching soccer. So sometimes the family of these young men, they would bring me pusawa. Back or pusawa, because I used to tell the children then when we play for what kind of food I can eat. I left pusawa business. So they used to bring pusawa. Back or pusawa. And the man there would say, oh, we know you're from Liberia. This is where George, they don't call him George Weah, they call him George Weah. This is where George Weah came from. And he's a good soccer, and our kids like him. Just some rice. I said, thank you. I'll take the rice. I'm going to eat it. I was in school with him. I come to the kids say, no, I don't know that man. I say, yeah. But I've always truthful. I don't know him. I know of him. And because of that, I used to follow his career. He was playing with terrible words. I think I call him terrible words, the guy from Nigeria. And that's Dessier, the guy from France, used to be a defender as well. But these people, we followed them. But one of the things that I used to admire the most, because the war was happening, I used to watch the news and read the newspaper almost every day. And every time you read the newspaper, Soccer Star from Europe, you will find out that George Weah had gone to Liberia. Or George Weah is in Ghana, in refugee camp. What is he doing over there? And most of the refugees that are from Liberia, that went through Ghana, Nigeria, and places, they will talk about it. They will talk about it. If they want to be sincere, they will talk about it. He used to go down there, go and see them, organize football game to make people happy, bring smile to people's faces. Now you're president of the same country. And these kinds of things happen, we don't hear from you. Let me go ahead and play the last video. Samson told Liberian Public Radio.
The more I forgot about it, Choco, who is the EPA boss, grew up with their father and uncle in Congo. He passed every day to go to work, to come to town. He had him over town and goes back. He ate it with Pushy father and uncle. He has never stopped one day to even see that. Not on behalf of the government, but on behalf of himself and his family, people that he knew. No one. Not even the president, George Weah, who pushing Ghana for 3 years. Push had been Ghana. Push was a son on the motorcade. Whenever I used to live here, whenever the motorcade passed, but sometimes I go to the market, I would see you, I would wait for him, and he would do that. He would do a thing like that, no one. They are not the official statement from the president or even from the EPA boss to say that one of their officers died. But believe me, for us with the family, we do not like that Bushi kill himself. We did not kill himself. We raised Bushi. We know Bushi. Bushi grew up in a Christian home. Bushi will not take his life. Bushi is not crazy. Bushi was not crazy. Bushi did not take his drugs. Bushi Ghana, President George Weah, from the morning, from the night until the morning. Then Bushi takes crazy to kill himself. There is no record to show to any hospital that Bushi has a medical problem. And if Bushi has a medical problem, he was not the guardian, the president. He guarded President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for 12 years. We heard nothing. But when it comes to this government, just to take him and carry him, brought him back as cargo. Let's think, brother. Let this government tell us something. Bushi did not commit suicide. Let me clear his name. We are ready to die. Yeah. We are ready to die. We kept silent for reasons. Now we are ready to die. Yeah. We are ready to speak up. We call upon civil society. We call upon the legislators. We call upon them. Gabas Delon, Yaga Koluba, all those men are out there. We call them to come and help us to speak for us. We need justice. We need justice for ourselves. We need justice for you. The more helpful about it. Choco, who is the EPA boss, grew up with Mary father and uncle in Congo. He passed every day to go to work, to come to town. He had him over town and goes back. He ate it with Bushy father and uncle. He has never stopped one day to even see that. Not on behalf of the government, but on behalf of himself and his family, people that he knew. No one. Not even the president, George Weah, who pushing Ghana for 3 years. Bush had been Ghana. Bush was a son on the motorcade. Whenever I used to live here in Jerusalem, whenever people came past, because sometimes I'm going to the market, I would see you are waving and you would do like this. You would do it like this, no one. There are not no official statement from the president or even from the EPA boss to say that one of the officers died. But believe me, for us with the family, we do not think Bush killing himself. Bush did not kill himself. We raised Bush. We know Bush. Bush grew up in a Christian home. Bush will not take his life. Bush is not crazy. Bush was not crazy. Bush did not take his drugs. Bush Ghana, President George Weah, from the morning, from the night until the morning. Then Bush takes crazy to kill himself. There is no record to show to any hospital that Bush have a medical problem. And if Bush has a medical problem, he will not be guarding the president. He guarded President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for 12 years. We heard nothing. But when it comes to this government, just to take him and carry him, brought him back to Chicago. Let's think, brother. Let this government tell us something. Bush did not commit suicide. Let him clear his name. We are ready to die.
Yeah.
We are ready to die. We kept silent for reasons. Now we are ready to die.
Yeah.
We are ready to speak up. We call upon civil society. We call upon the legislators. We call upon them. Gabas Delon, Yaga Koluba, all those men that are out there. We call them to come and help us to speak for us. We need justice. We need justice for ourselves. We need justice for you. The more helpful about it.
My people, this is one of those days that you do a show and somehow you're done with a show and you're so stubborn, you're so sad. I don't know. The family, they're hurting, to be honest with you. They're very, very painful. It is painful. It's even me watching it right now. It brings a lot of memories, but they're very painful to watch. And so once again, I'm also asking the president, if you can't visit these people, bring them to the office and find out what you can do. Find out what you can do. Don't listen to those people that, oh, Prophet King involved. As soon as you talk to them, they will call Prophet. Don't listen to them. Find out what these are your citizens. They're Liberians. They're Liberians. They're Liberian. You are our president. There's some of us, you're the father of the nation. Some of us will say bad things about you. But that doesn't mean you're not the president, you're not the father of the nation. I'm appealing to you. As our father, reach out to this family. Even if this man commits suicide, you know the family are going through grief situation right now. So as long you guys stay away and not providing information to the family, people will say something and they will believe it. And I'm not the only one who playing this thing. This thing was on Front Page Africa. Front Page Africa recording. And Front Page Africa is a respectable new organization. So I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. Because this is just not the way to go. And then we have the traditional chief the other time coming out to say that the opposition, the cause why investors are not coming to Liberia. And these are some of the reasons. People who are advising this president are not doing the right thing. This man, you heard they enter here. He ride motorbikes sometimes to protect the president. And you heard the other enter. Said this guy was willing to sacrifice his life for the president. So whoever attacked the president, he doesn't mind putting his body on the way to protect the president. And this president must understand that, because he's not alone. There are other young people that are still doing these kinds of work. So the kind of news that is happening right now, all of those people are concerned. All of those young people that are protecting you are concerned. And this is what I'm saying. So many of the young people that are protecting, some of them, wait a minute, what happened? They say, what happened to our body? Oh, no, man. They don't have anything else that we just hear. Their interests are waning out. They start waning away. This is what you shouldn't listen to the people who are telling you not to be involved. Because when you're involved, you get energy to these young people that sacrifice themselves. Look at the kind of condition in Monrovia. Look at the amount of speed these children ride on their motorbike every day when you're going somewhere. Any of them can flip up on the motorbike and get killed. But they're willing to do that because they believe in you. You have to tell them you also believe in them. You have to tell them that their work is not for nothing. By coming to, even if this man commits suicide, you don't know why. We don't know why. But the president must be ahead of this thing. If you guys think that whoever the other platform then got the information, then they're dragging your knee in and therefore you're not going to participate anymore, it's up to you. All I can say is that it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. So I hope that because let me just say this again. There's a councillor, Chair Chipo, when there was a lot of killing that was happening in the PRC government. And he went on to say, these people that are being killed, whether right or wrong, they got relatives. They got relatives. And when they think ready to explode, Liberians were not thinking. They were not thinking. These things can't stay like this forever. You have all the auditor that died. People say all kinds of things. Everything you can think about. Up to this point, we have not heard anything to say this is what happened. Anybody die? Oh, the president. And the president quiet. The people in the president quiet. The journalists that died in Banga from the goat incident, they say, oh, that the president, the journalists died until the goat business came up. But will you blame these people if they tie this thing around the government? Because nobody is saying nothing. Moses Carter says something, the people say he's lying. Why? I remember there was an incident, and I have the video here, during the lockdown, when it first started. Scouts were in the street, and Moses Carter went to the city police station, and the police chief and Moses Carter almost got into it almost. Because Moses Carter said the scouts have no business being in the street. Who gave them the right? But they see Moses Carter. People say, everybody think, you're not being truthful. But I'm not concerned with being truthful or not. You people need to step ahead of these things. Because the international community are watching. And these things affect the decision of these people to bring their money in Liberia. It's an investment. And you don't want to, nobody in America, all of these billionaires, a trillionaire, if there's such thing, none of them want to invest, do any kind of risky investment. And if they view Liberia as being a risky investment, they're not going to put money in there. We must have a conducive atmosphere that will require or even give these people some sort of a confidence to put their money in the country because they know it's going to be a good return. But if this country is shaking like this, every one of us are responsible. It's our country. But anyway, let me go ahead and put my number up, folks. Samson told Liberian Public Radio. These are very sad time for all of us. And I will ask you, give me a call, Samson told Liberian Public Radio. Ah, my goodness. I can't even put I don't even remember our phone number now, folks. We can't continue to have a country like that. We do that, we're all going to fail. If that country falls, call the bluff of democracy for the second time, we're not bringing it back. It's going to be a failed state. It's going to look at Somalia right now. It's not back to itself yet. Why the other country? Look at Ghana. Even Ivory Coast, even Sierra Leone. These people are moving. Liberia is moving too. But we have to all come together. The Constitution gives us the right to criticize and must be respected. But we cannot criticize without being responsible. We must also respect the rights of the leaders themselves. They're individuals, they're people. So if we're going to criticize them, we must do so with responsibility. You can criticize, but you can do it with respect. Let your criticism come across as being genuine, not because you're envious or because you're angry. If you're angry with somebody who is serving as president, you have a tough time to make any kinds of criticism because it's going to be coming across as being somebody is angry. And sometimes because of your anger, you don't see that what you're doing is hurting all of us as Liberians. So people look at these kinds of stuff like, okay, what do we take of it? It's just that Liberians love Liberia. Liberians love Liberia. I've never seen any citizen who loved their country like Liberian before. Every time you have a platform that you talk about Liberia, right now I got 43 people watching. Do you think they don't have anything to do on a Friday afternoon? But because they love their country, they're not here to come just see me talking. If I were to come here and talk about my bald hair, oh, you think they will come watch it? They will leave. But the love they have for their country. And so many platforms take advantage of these things. Instead of coming to discuss how and when and what we need to do to move the country forward, we tend to criticize, deeply criticize, and go deeper than just criticizing. And our people gravitate towards those kinds of stuff. I'm not going to fault them. Those of us that have this platform, we should use this opportunity to teach. We should use this opportunity to create atmosphere where we all can dialogue peacefully. We should use this type of opportunity to benefit our brothers and sisters. But everybody takes side. The other side stay on that one. When they're ready to talk about the opposition, like the opposition are not human beings. They just say anything they want to say about the opposition. The other side stay on their side when they're ready to talk about the government and the leadership, like they're no human being either. When will we come together to understand that we're in a boat together? What is amazing as far as Liberians are concerned is they tend to forget very quickly. When the war was raging in Liberia, did they say opposition excuse or did they say government excuse? Every one of us was affected. When the people were fighting, they didn't say, oh, your excuse, your opposition, man, okay, one side we're going after government. It wasn't like that. And when the government was coming, they said, oh, you're independent. Okay, y'all stay one side, we're going after the opposition. It wasn't like that. Every one of us, everyone, as long as you're Liberian and you're fighting or you're not fighting, you're in harm's way. So what makes you think that this person this, that person this person that? That when the time comes tomorrow, God forbid, if we slap back into this, you think they're going to say, excuse, this bullet, they're going to write somebody's name on a bullet? Why can't we use this opportunity to teach our brothers and sisters? Why can't we use it? And those of you that have the platform, larger platform, people gravitate towards you. People gravitate towards you guys because they know you can explain and they know you have the power to convince. Let's do it to benefit our country. Give me a call, Samson to Liberian Quarry. If I'm going to be calling. I'm going to be calling Pat Josh here very quickly. I once again to the family of this young man. We here on Liberian Public Radio also express our sympathy. We're not trying to use your grief to make a point. We're not trying to use your grief to score a political point. Far from it. I know what you're talking about. I was in the same type of position. It is difficult. It is hard. And it's very hurtful that you're looking for answer and you can't find answer. It's very hurtful. Very hurtful. And so you tend to look anywhere where you think the answer will come from. Okay? All right. I've been out here. Okay. Pat Josh, give me a call. Let's close the thing. Let me get out of here. This is just a very sad time for all of us. I'm not even going to play music tonight. Pat George, if you're listening, this is Samson Talk. Give me a call, please. A friend, a young man, he's a little bit older than him. We all grew up in Tota. He and I connected today after almost 200 years. And he told me who his father was. Ah, my goodness. This word is too small. My brother, thank you. Okay, let me go to Pat Josh. Pat Josh, good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us, please. Thank you. Go ahead, make a point.
Yes.
Help me.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Close it. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Mr. So I got a pointing question for you. Let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
If I say anything, you think if someone would have said, or someone would say, the governor of Togo, Tubman, that system will compare to that of South Africa, will you accept that?
The what? The government what?
The governor of Togo
Mm-hmm.
and Tubman,
Mm-hmm.
that system. And someone said,
the Christian?
no, hold on. I'm saying, I want to ask you a question before I say anything.
Okay.
I said, if someone would have said that the governor of the late Warren Togo or Tottenham,
Mm-hmm.
that system was the same system as apartheid, will you accept that premise?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to find out something. Now, someone come on this platform.
I can't just say this is a public radio. Let me clear myself. I don't want people to say, oh, you say no, that's it. And the reason I'm saying no, because the Liberian system at the time, even as bad as we claim it wasn't anything like apartheid. Liberian Togo and Tubman were not going around and say, oh, your country people, when your kind will shoot you. It was not like that. The only person who was doing stupid stuff like that was what's his name? Frank Toba, who when you go on Benson Street, because he has his house over there, and if he's taking lunch, you're going to be pushed on the other side. It happened to me in Benson Street, right before Carey Street and Benson Street. Carey Street and Benson Street, at the corner of Carey Street and Benson Street, right before you get to Capitol Bypass, in the corner right there. So I think it's McDonald,
where they used to have party here, McDonald. Carey Street and McDonald right there on it. Yeah, depending where you go.
They have a elementary school there. They use a wear blue and yellow or something like that.
If you're going down Carey Street, it will be on the right. If you're coming up Carey Street, it will also be on the left side.
Yes, that's right. So if you're on that sidewalk going toward Benson Street, which will be on the right sidewalk, if you be on there and the man is there at lunchtime, they will push you to cross the road, tell you to cross the road. But anyway, so the apartheid system in South Africa, which the white were just killing pretty much black people who were against their stuff. It was not like that in Liberia. So no, that's what I'm saying. No.
Okay, but you see, Mr. To, what is happening in Liberia? And for me, I tell people, what I say, you can put a gun to my head, I will never deny it. It's just me. When people get up, you hear that this committee someone will mock. But nothing happened to the people that mocked that person, that killed that person. Nobody. You go, you find a woman body on your side. And police say, well, we're investigating. You don't find anything. There is a government, a central government, that is charged with the responsibility of enforcing law, protecting the citizens, the 43,000 square miles of that country. Mysterious death, you don't get a full conclusion of the outcome of the investigation. These are things that lead some of us to use certain words that we are going down that path if we are not careful. And I said yesterday, Liberia is going down the path of a failed state if we are not careful. Because when citizen lives being taken away, no accountability is not one, it's not two, it's not three. And the central government cannot exercise the power they have to provide that comfort or security for the people. That becomes a problem. Someone said, look, people say we don't care what the international community says. But if the insane international community every day we appeal to, you mention investors. You go to the American Embassy website, you go read a report like the extrajudicial killing. It's not me writing it, it's not you wrote it. There are some people, they themselves are writing about Liberia. What will encourage someone, a genuine businessman, to go to that country? When they are using the term to describe your country. Extrajudicial killing, no accountability, nothing. When they are using those words they describe, what will make someone sincerely invested to go to Liberia? There's no way. Because these are the information that people rely on to go to a country. Because investors want a stable country. They want a system that can function. When they have a point to go to the court, they will have a redress. It's not there. They're not writing it. But yet people say it's no problem. Now, let me go back to this guy issue. The timeline, this guy killed, they say he committed suicide 6:03 a.m. When it happened, plenty will come to people's mind. The first thing you want to know, who all were on our assignment? how this guy shot himself. Or he put a bullet to his forehead or in the ear. All these questions start coming. Now, I said this. When the government is not providing information when these things happen, we will come in. Because we will come to fill the void from information we're getting. That's why when these things happen, when the government is not going to say the government is responsible, we're pointing at the government. There's no other person will sit in the country with authority for people to listen to. It's only the government. Because they are the one who control every security apparatus in that country. If you have a private security, the national police supersede the strength of that private security. They interrogate that private security. The private security don't investigate the police. So when there's a crime committed in that area and there's a private security, they bring those people to the police to investigate them. And then if the information is not coming from the police, then there's a problem. I said, let me repeat it. I said, Moses Carter is a liar. And I will not shy away from it, because he's on tape. When Odell Sherman died, and young man Kimball said the name of the family, they did this. The family Kimball had press conference. The very man, Rockefeller Coppola, Dr. Rockefeller was in Nigeria at the time. The people said no. When Moses Carter said it was a lie, met with us. This is the police spokesperson. And the people, the citizens, are accusing him of being a liar at the time. Then trust is no more there. So, that young man, government says he committed suicide. Then they say, oh, he shot himself 3 times in the head. You see government saying this thing. Then people start looking at what? How does no shot? How does no shoot himself 3 times in the head? Where? Which part of the head? All the questions start coming out. It start coming up. Then the government just goes silent. They don't have to come out every day to tell us what they're doing. But if someone will come from the government, one we can say, hey, like this is how far we want with the investigation. It will take us time to reach the finding. We are coming, but we just want to tell you people that we are on top of things. People say, okay, the government is investigating. But everything goes silent when you try to say, oh, the government is investigating. How do the people know? How citizens know? These are the issues some of us raising that we say government is the one that is creating most of this problem. Because once the citizens tend to not trust you, it becomes a very challenging issue for government. Even if something wrong, the government is not involved. People will still say the government because why? The pattern that they experience. How do we build our confidence? It's the issue the government is facing today. Listen to that woman. Nobody came to us 3 weeks, 2 weeks, nobody called. That's alarming. One of the friends coming around. Now, suppose I tell you, okay, Mr. Doe, you know what? Some of these friends, they don't want to go around because they saw what happened, and if they go there, they are embarrassed to look at the family. Because they got nothing to tell the family. From another point of view, somebody could raise that issue. And the question I asked, have you seen this man was 15 years in your system? He never had a close body? That something happened to nobody can go to see his wife and children? That is a serious concern. Why nobody from this man's office that worked along when he had not even gone to his house to say, oh, just talking to you, hello, sorry for what happened. Nobody. Is this someone telling them to stay away? These are the questions, these are the issues people raise. Some of from there, as I always say, I don't know President William personally. Most of the people that, in fact, 90% of the people that went out government, I don't know them personally. The only person I know personally is Eugene Falcon. It's Eugene Falcon I know personally. Other than I don't know any other person in that government. I can call your name, but I don't know
How
you.
you know Eugene Falcon?
No, I never know Eugene Falcon. Eugene Falcon myself in Ghana. I had a club in Ghana. Eugene Falcon who play football with it together. I know him personally. I was on a show, Mr. Tool, and he called the person because I was talking something. He called the person and told the person everything about me. And the person asked me, "Do you know the deputy minister?" I said, "Yes." He said he sees so about you. I said, "That's true." He said, "Oh, but I've been trying to get this man. I have not been able to get it. Only today because he on the show he called to tell me that he knows you." He said, "Oh, the man that my brother would eat together, we play soccer together." I said, "Well," he said, "Oh, that man had a club in Ghana." I said, "Oh," I said, "Well, he's telling you that means he knows me." I said, "Yes." Then I asked, I said, "Okay, well, tell me," the minister that gave me his number. The minister refused. He never even spoke to me when we were on our conversation. That is to tell you. And people say, "Oh, some of you people, the man, you Mr. Toll. If you on a program say, I know Mr. Toll." And Mr. Toll said, "Oh yeah, I know you must. You know this and that. I think know this and that." Then he said, "Oh," I said, "Tell Mr. Toll to give me his number." And you refused. You didn't even say, "Oh, let me talk to Amos." So you think if I go to Liberia, you think I'm going to look for Eugene Falcon? If I see Eugene Falcon, I'm on the left side. If he come on the right side, I'm on the left side. But these things are happening, Mr. Tool. Right now, these people so the first stage of grief is denial. That is the first stage of grief, denial. You just don't believe that had happened. Then the next thing is the anger. The third thing is the bargaining. But we don't really look at depression because nobody go to doctor to get any medication. So you just sit on your corner one day, you sit down, you're lonely, you talk to yourself, you walk around, that's it. And the last thing is acceptance. And sometimes look at this thing, the acceptance, yeah, but it's sometimes you always ask yourself if you have been victim of this situation. Let me give you a story. If my son was living, who would have been 21 by this time. If you ever heard of the Duboro massacre.
The what massacre?
The Duboro massacre. He was one of those who were killed in that massacre. If you read the story about Duboro massacre, the one that they burned horses, the people gathered around horses.
It was during the
war,
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And how old was he? I think 1 or 2 years old.
Wow.
Never saw the grave, never saw the body up to date. And sometimes when I sit down, I ask myself, why this happened? And I tend to grapple with it. Is it very happy? But it's going 20 years, I can't see him. No grave. But here's the issue. There are people who suspect it, or who suspect that they died. Today they are in Morovia, and they come out and say, I didn't do nothing. If someone feel that I did something, then let it go ahead. And then you wonder, what is this person talking about? They were in this era. They had the armed men there. And this happened, they're not even coming to say, look, more happened. We saw it, there was war, but no, they come to say that it did not happen. And sometimes you ask yourself, who are these people? Are they think that they're the only people that can do this and go scot-free? Why they don't think that some of us are capable of holding a thing gun and go and shoot people too? But again, for humanity to say, oh no, Let me move on. And these are the stages these people are going to. These people right now, they are angry. They are angry.
Mm-hmm.
They are angry. They will say anything that someone tells them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's true or not, they will say it. But as you said, what is the way forward? Maybe I don't know if that you mentioned about a trip. I don't know a young man. I listened to that tape. Professor Kipler, a tape. I listened to it. But again, it's not something that I can buy into. I can't say, oh, it's the man, because I'm not a very expert.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm not a very expert. I don't know how Professor Kipler got a tape. And for me to say, oh, it is the man's voice, then I will be making a big mistake, because I cannot prove. Because I'm not a very expert, I'm not going to any very expert to authenticate.
According to Front Page Africa, the wife, she leaked the audio, a conversation between.
Yeah, leaked the audio. But even with that, she leaked. I heard all that, but for me, I can't say definitely that it's the man, because I don't know the man. I can't.
You never heard the man voice before. To say I can compare, or I know the man voice, stuff like that.
Yeah, but the person, if you listen to our audio, the person they were speaking in code at any time, and the female was not trying. She was not really getting what this person was told. The man was talking about, and like you see that the person was like in her, like I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to speak in code. But you're not getting me, and you can't go, well, Emma, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And it was like that. So, these are things that are troubling. And someone said, Mr. Toole, if someone's going to commit suicide, what is the move of that person? The group of people working together, did they see the person not go and sit down lonely, talking to themselves? Or did they all hear the person saying maybe they have some financial problem, maybe some marital affair going in the home, they're not satisfied? Did they ever hear some mumbling like that? So these are things that investigators are supposed to find out. Mm-hmm. From the family side, that is the West, hey, how you a husband living? But when he left, all these things the investigators will try to look at it, to come to that conclusion that yes, this person committed suicide. But other than that, in the absence of all those things, for one just to conclude that the person committed suicide is difficult. Mm-hmm. Especially in the scientific world today, it's just difficult. So my point here is the way forward here, I think, and I will always say this, the government always creating headache for herself. When these things happen, while attempting investigation, show some love, show some empathy. Put that person in your shoes. That if this thing would have happened to my relative, what would be the feeling of me? Mm-hmm. And look at that person then, and look at yourself. Go there. What do you think would have cost the director of the EPS to drive one morning or one afternoon and say, "Madam, good afternoon. I came to see you people."
I think after that audio was played on Prophet Key, I think everyone that I'm just speculating at this point. I think everyone got really angry and said, "Oh, that's what they want to do. I'm not even going to be bothered with them anymore."
Yeah, but here's the thing: you are a leader.
That's the wrong concept.
I don't know. I think that time you're lying like good. It was almost during the heat of the war. One woman got killed. Mysterious death. Esther Parker, Ghana Wave, and right MVDC, the estate right there. I think that's Stephen Tower Estate. I think Stephen Tower Estate. Right in that area, the Esther Parker got killed. She died. and I think she was raped or something happened. And that case drew headline in Monrovia because around almost they hit the wall. And I remember Wilfred Clark was then director of police. Wilfred Clark went to that wake that night. People did not believe it. The same thing, people were pointing out that it was the people that killed this woman. But Esther Parker was no political figure, that kind of kind, you know. It was just somebody misread everything that occurred during that time. And the police came in on immense pressure. Wilfred Clark spoke. But Wilfred Clark went to that week. Esther Parker, ask him about it. He went to that week. What I'm saying is, even if there was an audio leak out, those people said they waited 2 weeks. Mr. Toh, you think if the director of the EPS, with the kind of relationship that people have mentioned that this man had with this man's father, you think if that man would have gone there and said, look, my people, hold on. I understand what's going on. I understand. You lost your son, but you look up to me. We're going to do a thorough investigation. I do not want you to do anything outside by speaking to the president. Look to me.
Right.
We will be communicating with people directly. Right. Those people would not today. Those people will not be on the air.
No.
They would have not been there.
I think that's what we were waiting for. I think that's what we were waiting for.
That's what they were waiting for. That's why they said we waited 2 weeks, and we see the director passing, and this man father used to eat. Mr. Toh, these are some of the things that when people do, and some of talk, they say we don't like government or this and that. It's the way you behave. Sometimes people will start to accuse you. The people know you, they trust you, they respect you. The first thing you should have didn't want to tell Mr. President, I'm going there, I know this family, let me go there. I'm going there to represent you. Go and tell the people, my people, we heard it, but this is not what happened. You know me, I know this man, father. We are family. Just give me a chance. You will be in touch. All this arrangement, give me a chance, let us investigate the thing. If anybody, that man, personally, that director, if we had done that to those people, Mr. Toh today would not be talking this story. We would not be talking this story here. But because the refusal to go to meet these people now, this is why now it's creating headache for the government.
It's not over yet though, because sooner or later this is gonna blow up in the international community and
it's going to be, Mr. Toh, it's gone. From there, the oil recording, the people take these things, and this thing, Mr. Toh, I know that these people are represented on the ground. You think all these stories these people write you don't know anybody in the American Embassy. You don't know anybody in the UN. I don't know anybody there. How you think people come up with the stories? It's because they represented the ground, they ground there. The very people that are going and tell, we'll give you $10 million, or we'll give you this for this project, are the same people compiling the report and sending it.
Right. Okay. All right, Patrick.
But I just want to leave for that know, but it is a very sad thing. And I think this thing is just tough to talk. Because this is not the first time someone dying like this. The boy from Lapasi, that journalist, the same similar case. Government said they were doing it, they didn't do it. They didn't see the formula. Those people move on. So it is just hard to put the government in a very peculiar position to handle some of the issue because they are not on top of the story. They leave the story for the public to make judgment. And once you leave the story, people will feel in the gas. Someone will come and say what we want to say. I will say, I go to Liberia about 2-3 years. I love Liberia. That's what I go there for. But at the same time, when this thing happens, it also hurts us. Because Someone want to see good things happening, but at the same time, when you see other things happening that create a negative impact on the country, then someone got to talk.
Okay.
It's just a reality. But anyway, thank you for the conversation, and I just want to tell you formally, it's tough. When somebody kill or die for you in a mysterious way, it is a difficult thing to wrap your hand around, and especially when people are not coming that you suspect to talk to you, to give you information. It is a tough thing to swallow.
Right.
Thank you for the show. It's been a very good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Joe. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Good night to you as well. Okay, folks. Samson told LeBron Public Radio. I'm going to say good night to all of you. And then again, once again, to the family. We express our deepest sympathy and to you people, because I know this is not an easy task. But let's give the government an opportunity to see if they can come back and explain to us what's happening. Let me answer this. Samson told LeBron Public Radio, what's your name, where you're calling from, what's on your mind?
My name is Charles Kingsley. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Okay. Good evening, Charles. Go ahead and you'll be my last caller in because I'm way past the time. Go ahead, make your point, my brother. But you gotta lower your monitor though. If not, you're gonna be having some.
I'm calling from Minnesota.
EA?
I'm hearing you.
Okay, so you're gonna have to lower your monitor.
I'm not sure. Is it okay?
Well, let's try it. Go ahead, make your point. If you're getting echo, then you know where the echo is coming from. Go ahead.
Okay. So, yes, I was listening to, I was on YouTube today. I was listening to the conversation from Melvin. I don't know, his relative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was my first time to hear the news that an EPS officer died, and I was told, as I was listening to the interview, interviewing, I think his mother's
that's the ends.
The auntie, okay, two of the ends. So I got really interested, it got really interesting. So I started to listen to it further, and what the lady was saying was that he was shot, and then he had a knife or use on him all over his body, and then I heard that it was reported that he committed suicide. How did that happen? So those are kind of things you're saying. But the question I have was, I want to know. Like I said, I just heard it today. I don't have much detail on it. It was just shocking to me. I want to know: did he die on the president's county tour recently?
Yes.
Okay. So what was the reason? How did it happen? I mean, from what I heard on YouTube, it seems like this was a murder case rather than a suicide. From the description that the lady gave, it cannot be a suicide.
Well, that's what we're saying. The family believe it's a murder case, and the government is saying that this is a suicide.
And too many people are dying from Liberia, especially in the government. What is going on in Liberia time like this? Why are they killing people? Are those people making sacrifices or what?
We don't know whether the government is killing people, so we can't just come and make that.
I mean, I'm not saying the government. I said, why these people are killing people? We don't know who's doing it.
But it's not. Anybody is killing anybody. All we know is people are dying. That's the fact. We don't know.
I mean, obviously there are people killing people. The people that are dying, they are not natural deaths. So we can say the people are dying. Why they are killing them? Somebody died in the car. Somebody died being shot in the head. Somebody died, or how is it called? Mysteriously, the deaths that we've been hearing from Liberia, those deaths, they are not people just die. Even if you don't have full evidence, you cannot attribute it as a natural death. You always say people somebody killed the person, but you don't know who did it and how it was done. But from the way the person died, you know that this person was killed.
I'm just saying what I know. What
I know, my brother. I am just really concerned
over than what I know. So it's up to you. If you believe people are killing somebody, who am I to say?
No, I mean that's my own observation from what I've been hearing. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just I have been today. I was at work. I saw that video on YouTube. I was actually listening to other things about the Capitol building staff that were not paid for months. That's what I was listening to the day before yesterday, and I'm always interested to listen to news from Liberia. So when I heard this today, it really caught my attention that EPS officer died and how he died, and the government said. I mean, from what I heard from the lady, the government said it was a suicide. But now, from the description she's giving about the body she saw, I am not accusing the government or anybody, but from the description the woman gave, it cannot be a suicide. He shot himself with a gun, took a knife, and then he sees all his body is bleeding. Which kind of suicide is that? And then when you read on YouTube, people said that man was hired to kill the president. So the messages I was reading on YouTube, the comments, so he was hired to kill the president, things like that. Some of the comments we read on the latest interview, the comments that I was reading, someone was saying that, all kind of things people were saying, it's kind of surprising. I mean, we've been in Liberia for a couple of years. Those things were not really happening in the government when we were there before. At least from what I know, from my knowledge, but why is it happening now? Why all these killing about? Why is it that a year cannot pass? Somebody has to die in Liberia. If not from sickness, will die from other causes that we know they are not natural. Except from those who die from sickness when they went abroad. Why are other people dying like this?
Well, people are dying all over the world. Here in the United States, people die almost every day.
So we're talking about a country like Liberia. We're in the United States, but we're concerned about a country. Of course, people are dying all over the world. We know that.
No, I'm
but
just
we
saying,
are concerned about a country.
Saying, yeah, I agree with you. But it's some people die natural death, but those who die,
but the government is playing.
Those who die accident, and those are things. The only thing is, what I can say on that is, if these things happen, the government should. I believe they should be ahead of it to try to inform the citizenry what is happening in the country. But we also have to understand that this government is doing something that we have to recognize, because people are alive. Tomorrow morning, millions of Liberians will wake up safe. And the government should take credit for something like that, bringing safety in the country. People are not going to disappear tonight. I hope not. And so it's not a failed state. That's what I'm pointing at. So, but thank you for your contribution.
Okay, I still have much to say, but if you don't have much time, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We've been on here going to almost 3 hours, so I'm sorry about that.
Okay, thank you so much for putting me on. I just got my phone and I turned it on. I saw you. I decided to call in. Thanks for putting me on.
Thank you. Anyway, whenever we come on, you have the opportunity. Please do so. Don't hesitate to call us. But thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. Yep, I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, folks. At this time, I don't see the need to even play music tonight. I would just say good night to all of you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Oh my goodness. Samson told Ladron Pablo, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Mr. Toad. George here from Australia. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you so much. I've been following the conversation, and I thank you for the amount of logic you bring to the discourse. It's just a few things I want to touch on this topic, especially for people who continue to die in Liberia. And I think it's incumbent upon us. So those of us who are not affected directly, even though when a Liberian dies, every Liberian is affected. But for those who are not, who is not our family members, we should take a backseat and try to think about it. What is really happening? Why are people so in denial? Look, this thing happened for the 3 boys that got missing. The family vehemently denied that the children are dead. They say they believe the children that someone took the children and they are keeping them somewhere. And then the EPS got a died again. Said no, he didn't die natural. He didn't commit suicide. Even though the government says he committed suicide, he said no, he did not. And it becomes worrisome when there's such a lack of trust with government, making a pronouncement about things like this. And it makes me to wonder sometimes. I don't know whether it's we that have the problem or the government that has the problem. Because if the spokesperson of the government comes up and says this, and then people will completely trash it. They will say it's a complete lie. And then they will bring up a theory that even though they have no forensic, they have no direct connection to that, some of them will just, play a tape and listen to the tape, and then it will be the forensic, there will be the voice analysis, they will do the everything, and then they'll come up with theory and say that's how the person died. And guess what? People believe them instead of believing where more than one person is doing an investigation and finding out. As I told, this is worrisome, and I think as Liberians we should be conscious of this that is happening, because look, Liberia is the only place we can call home. That's why we can be living in the Western world and having all of the technology and everything. Even in the Western world, people die and their case remains cold or remains unresolved for many years. These things happen with all the forensics, the CCTV all in the streets and everywhere. These things happen. But for Liberia, when it happens, people will make up their own minds about it. And you cannot even educate them about anything. They will not agree. Look, Mr. Toh, just go to a place in Liberia and try to have a discussion with someone. Even if you have all the facts, the person will say, "Move on here, man. You say that all that thing are lie." Can you imagine? And you will stay there and you will be trashed and you will not even have a foot to stand on, as if you are an idiot. That's what people continue to do in Liberia. And it is creating an environment where we will have a country where there will be lawlessness. Because when people are believing more of a conspiracy theory or theories that are made by certain people and don't trust the authorities in power to do these things, it becomes lawless. People will take laws into their hands, and that's what's happening. Like what happened in I think it was in Bento or somewhere around Monserrato County, where someone went with a yellow machine and just destroyed a school building, and then people came on the street and blocked the road, and these things happen. And I think it's incumbent upon us, and like you did this morning, I really admire your position when you try to portray, how people are becoming to be very skeptical and creating their own theories and own analysis about things. And we should try to push this line. We understand that when people die from us, we get in denial. Even if they die in front of us in a hospital, we still don't accept that they are dead. And just to say, there's a lady who I really care about so much, and who took me as a child here in Australia when I came here because I didn't have any parents here. She passed away. I think next month will be her 1 year anniversary. I still can't believe that she's dead. I just feel that she has suffered. And these are the things that happen to people when people die from them. But in Liberia, we have to find somebody that killed them. And yesterday, my wife and I was at a dinner table, and we're talking about the same death. And yes, what she said, who killing the people in Liberia like that? Because my dad is also paralyzed since 2 years now. He cannot walk. Nothing is happening to him. He's talking to all the doctors in Liberia. They said nothing is wrong. All the X-ray, everything is okay, but he cannot walk. He cannot even eat by himself. And then a friend called us again yesterday from Calcutta and said the same thing has happened to his mother. And then my wife, the first thing that came to her mind was that, what kind of wish they play in and wherever there? What I told was that, look, if this had happened, if they had happened in Australia or in America, people will start finding what type of virus it is. But in Liberia, we are finding out who wishing people. Then she started laughing. And she came directly to herself. She said, yes, that's true. That's the mentality of Liberians. It's that we're finding what is the root cause, what type of disease is that? We're finding a witchcraft. One old lady who living behind the house there, who also is struggling from some poverty, we will start blaming her. And when we torture her too much, she confesses. When she confesses, we find the root cause of the person, and then we either give us as a who or something. And these are the things that happen. Mr. Toh, I want to thank you. I don't want to take much of your time. I just want to thank you for the tune you brought to the discussion today. I really admire it. And I think by that sort of education, people will disagree, but as time goes by, they will understand that what you are saying makes more sense than a conspiracy theory or those who sit on Facebook to create this sort of commotion, to create stories that people will believe. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. And good morning to you as well.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, folks. Like I said, I'm not going to play music. I'll just say thank you very much. And good night to all of you. It's a very sad time that I have these family members in our prayer. Let's continue to ask God to take complete control of the situation. And hopefully the brothers and sisters will find solace in the fact that this young man served his country and contributed immensely to the peace of this country. So we want to also thank him for his service to the country. And whatever happened, we don't know. I don't know. I can't sit here and say I know. All I can say is that to ask God to guide the family, bless them, and bless all of us. Good night, folks. Samson Toh, Ladron Public Radio.